A commitment to lifelong spiritual development is the only way to experience what God intends you to experience. God, Jesus is the one talking. He's the best expert we got. Jesus wants you to experience what it's like to have the Spirit of God and live inside of you, indwell you, empower you, challenge you, correct you, grow you, develop you, mature you. He wants you to experience what that is like. He wants you to look and live and experience a life that looks like a spring of living water flowing from within you. He wants you to have that version of following Christ. He wants you to not live under the garbage of your emotions or your relationships or your brokenness or your addiction or your whatever things we name. He wants you to live in such a way that there's always a fresh flow of his presence, a fresh flow of his Spirit coming out of you and out into the ministry, out into the lives of others, whatever the word is you want to call it. But the only way you experience that is to have this ongoing commitment for spiritual development, for spiritual growth, to get closer to Jesus. And if I use this example here, if you want to stay in headache, and Jesus is the speaker, right? You can stay there all you want to. You're not going to experience what those of us who get close to Jesus is going to experience. That's just the way it works. So instead of the name of a town that's far away, let's just say that it's an emotion that's far away. It's an addiction that's far away. It's an excuse that's far away. It's a whatever that's far away. It's something that keeps me far from God. I am saved. I know Jesus maybe, but I'm not where I ought to be. Because these things bother me. These things handicap me. These things trip me up. I am too busy. It's these distractions that keep me far from over there. You can love Jesus, be an eternity in heaven someday, but I'm just going to let you know that if you're going to stand right here, you will never experience what God intends you to experience, because where you experience that is when you stand next to Jesus. It's growing, constantly growing in your walk with him. Not for a year, not for 6 months, not long enough to save your marriage or long enough to stop doing bad things, for the rest of your life. It's not just about you becoming a conduit of, or a reservoir of information. It's about you becoming a conduit of ministry. I mean, if you're next to a spring and it just keeps bubbling up, you get very close, you're going to get wet. It's just, that's the way it works. Yeah, but it's a really bad day. Yes, a really bad day doesn't stop a spring. There's a drought. Yes, there's a drought. Ponds, reservoirs dry up when there's droughts. Yes? But not springs. Springs just keep bubbling up.